Today on Jurgen's Journeys, we're going to Fort Hamby Campground, which is a U.S. Corps of Engineers campground in the foothills of North Carolina. It's located in Wilkes County on the W Kerr Scott Reservoir, and it offers many enjoyable activities, including disc golf, hiking, fishing, swimming, boating, you name it. If you love outdoor activities, you're going to love Fort Hamby Campground. So come along as we explore the campground and look at a few of the campsites today on Jurgen's Journeys. Hello, this is Jurgen of Jurgen's Journeys, and this week we're at Fort Hamby Campground, which is a Corps of Engineers campground on the W Kerr Scott Reservoir in Wilkes County. Beautiful reservoir that was authorized by Congress to be built back in 1962, and it serves four important purposes for this area. It is a water supply, it is for flood control, a wonderful recreational lake, fishing and boating and swimming and camping and all kinds of wonderful recreations. Also, this lake is a wildlife and fish conservation area. So it's a very important lake in this area of the North Carolina foothills. Now this campground, Fort Hamby, is one of three on the lake here. There is Bandit's Roost, Warrior Creek, and this one here, Fort Hamby. So today what I want to do is I want to show you around the lake a little bit. I want to show you some of the amenities of this campground, which include a two-lane boat dock, a swimming area, and then we'll take a look at some of the campsites. If you're interested in what some of these campsites look like, we'll take a look at a few of those, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed. So come along as we take a look at Fort Hamby Campground. One of the fun things to do here at Fort Hamby's is to play disc golf. And basically disc golf is a hike with a frisbee. You've got some targets you aim at, and along the way you learn all kinds of things about trees and nature, and the scorecard has all kinds of challenges on there, so it sounds like a really fun thing to do. This beautiful amphitheater behind us here is part of this Fort Hamby campground. First time we camped here, they were doing a Days of Thunder theater presentation here about Junior Johnson, and part of that presentation involved blowing up a still. I mean, it rocked the woods. I thought, what in the world is going on? We had to investigate. That evening they were doing a dress rehearsal, so we sat up here in some of these upper seats and watched this dress rehearsal of the Days of Thunder, the story of Junior Johnson and the moon shining and the revenuers and all that stuff. And it was just a great show. And the next night they had the actual production, and it was packed in here. And of course we heard the thunder again. So anyway, let's go on and look at a few more places while we're here at Fort Hamby. So the day use portion of Fort Hamby Park includes a bunch of shelters. There are numerous shelters that you can reserve and rent. There's picnicking. There are many picnic tables around. There's a beautiful playground. Of course, down at the lake is also a beach, and we'll take a little look at that. There has been some flooding here in the last month, and this whole beach area was flooded, so I don't know what that's going to look like, but we'll go check that out. So it's not a very large swimming area, but it's sandy, and of course you swim at your own risk. No lifeguards provided. Oh, don't tell Rottenbear. Well, let's take a little walk down here to the dock. Now, like I said, the bear loves to come down here, and he's not much of a fishing buddy because he wants to go too much. And, you know, unless he wants to lay down and snooze, you're not going to get much fishing done. I told you at the beginning that this lake was used for flood control. I don't know if you can tell, but up there, these leaves all up here are muddy. Here a while back, it got flooded here. I mean, we had some heavy rains, some torrential rains. But you can still see a little bit of the mud that the rain hasn't washed out of the trees just yet. But anyway, that's these are some of the beautiful spots, and as in other areas of the campground, there's all kinds of picnicking. Everywhere you go, there's picnic tables, and it's just a great place to come for even day use. So I'm standing at the bottom of the Kerr Scott Reservoir Dam. It's an earthen dam, and there's all kinds of hiking to do when you're here at the lake. Now, whether you're at Bandit's Roost Campground or at the Fort Hamby like I am this time, you can always find trails to hike. This right here is another trailhead for the Greenway that goes and follows the Yadkin River. Now this spillway is a popular place to come and fish. Great place for carp fishing, and you'll find fishermen down here all the time. I guess you find fish down here all the time. But it's a big dam, and we're gonna go up top and take a look at the lake from up there. I might come back down here, do a little bit of fishing. Well, that was kind of neat up there on the dam. That guy, I don't know what you call that thing that guy was running around in, but there's a beautiful park up there on top of the dam, and the kids and folks come from all around to enjoy that view from the top of the dam there. But I'm gonna rest for a while, and we'll check some more of this campground later. Okay. Well, it's a nice cool morning, a little bit overcast. We had some rain last night, and it was really nice because it cooled things off quite a bit. So I think we'll take a little ride this morning. We're going to go into Wilkesboro and then head up to the Brushy Mountains. Brushy Mountains always got some great fruit orchards up there, apples and peaches and all like that. So we're going to see if we can find us some peaches and maybe some Asian pears and things like that. So, oh, they've got some great candy. So we're going to go up there and knock around the Brushy Mountains for a while this morning. So come along. One of the best parts of coming to Wilkes County is the Brushy Mountains. And if you take time to explore the Brushy Mountains a little bit, you run across all these wonderful orchards, deal orchards over here. It's always a good place to buy fresh fruit. And across the road there's sugarloaf orchards. And when they're in season, you can get all kinds of peaches, and you can get apples. You got to come to the Brushy Mountain Apple Festival. Wilkes County's proud of their apples, and Wilkesboro will shut down, and they'll have this great apple festival every fall. We like to come for that sometimes and enjoy all the fresh apples. Apples will keep for a long time if you keep them refrigerated, keep them tied up in bags. You can keep apples for months. And so we'll come get a whole box of apples sometimes. I gotta tell you about this. I'll never forget the time when we came here and we pulled up like we always do, and over there right next to the bench was a big old long black snake. He had just made himself at home there on the front step, on the front door. And my wife had a cow, and the lady inside did too. Somebody came out and just gently poked the snake and took it over into the bushes down yonder, turned it loose. But every time we pull up to it, there's water hose. There's water hose over there too. We pull up over here. My wife always mentions that snake because she's scared to death of a black snake. Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Hot dog, there's some of them good chocolates. Did you get us some chocolates? Yay. Well, the sun's out. We had a nice little trip to Deal's Peach Orchard, and got some peaches, got some Asian pears, some candy, had dried beans, and several other things. I think there was some pancake mix too. But yeah, Bear's back and he's in his usual spot. Everything's drying out. The tent got a little wet, but no harm done. That Eureka tent's pretty nice to have when you're camping, especially with a big dog like the Rottenbear. You can make it into a screen tent and, keep the bugs out. But there's really not too many bugs here. It's been very nice. And then if the rain comes, you can drop the sides and all that. So I'm gonna try to let it dry out before we take it down to go home. I hate to take home a wet tent, but that's not today anyway. Well, hello again. I was looking through some of this footage, and I see where I promised to show you the campground. I showed you a little bit around the lake and some of the neat little features of this park, but I haven't showed you any campsites. So what do you say we'll go up here to the entrance and show you where the dump station is, and then we'll go on and take a look at a few of the campsites. Now, one of the not so glamorous parts of the campground that's a lot of folks might be interested in are the fact that it has a dump station with cleaning water, and of course you've got a recycle dumpster and a trash dumpster. So and then Opposite that is a huge field. There's a bench and a picnic table. You can do all kinds of ball playing out here while Daddy dumps the tanks on the trailer. But there's plenty of room. And this dump station and all is just inside the main gate. So I'm headed back down into the campground now and show you a few of the beautiful campsites that are down here. So here at the bottom of the Bandits Roost campground, there's a parking area for a trailhead that offers a beautiful hike called the Bushwhacker Falls Trail. Of course, from here you can also access the lake for swimming, fishing. There's a good fishing hole right over here on the bottom of this hill. Caught many pretty bass down in there just right off the bank. You have to be there at the right time of day. Early morning, late evening's a good time to go. All through the woods up here are beautiful shaded campsites, and we'll go look at a few of those. I may do that later on with Rottenbear and let him show you some of these spots. I think he'd want to come along. Now, even though the Fort Hamby Campground is built on a pretty good hillside, I mean there's some steep drop-offs all around and some fairly steep grades. In spite of all that, the campsites themselves are really nice and level. This is an example of that. We've got a campsite number 13 here, and it kind of joins at the top and meets campsite number 12 up there where I'm parked. And even though there's a bit of a incline on the entrance to the campsite, you've got a great level spot right up here at the top. Where my van is parked, once you get up here, you can see you've got a large level area on these two sites, campsite number 12 and 13. Of course, it drops off quite a bit down there to the lake. And going on down the hill here, there's some other very nice sites. At number 16 and 18 are sites that I've camped at, and they're pretty nice. You saw that fifth wheel down there at the bottom of the hill. I'd fit in there. That was actually a pull-through site that fit very nicely. I've seen fifth wheels up here on this hill. Very popular place for large campers and families. And then we're camped on up the hill there, number 20. And there's some beautiful sites, private and quiet. Another twin campsite is the number 23 and 22. If you like to camp with friends or family, that's an ideal spot, and it's often vacant. Now, our spot here, number 20, is also very nice and level, roomy, shady, which in the summertime, that's pretty important. You like to get a shady spot. But just opposite number 20, in number 21, that's a real pretty little spot too. Nice and level, plenty of room, it's deep. And if we look off down the road, up the hill there, it's a little loop up there with some very nice large campsites, a lot of longer vehicles in there, and the bathhouse is up on the next hill. So I'm going to take Mr. Rottenbear, and he's cooling it in his tent at the moment, and I'm going to go get him, and we'll take a little walk up towards the bathhouse up the hill there, and I'll show you a few more little campsites that you might like. Hey, buddy. You ready to go for a little walk? Yeah. You ready to go for a little walk? Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, he's ready to go for a walk. All right, stay right there. Put your leash on, okay? Good boy. So number 29 is kind of down in, but it's very private by itself. Number 30 is a pull-through. Fairly level, not too good on the upper end. But numbers 31 and 32, that's for camping with your friends and family. Number 11 is a very nice site. It's a totally paved handicap site. And down the hill from that are some other large and deep sites. Bathhouse. Here, buddy. Up the hill is a group campground for larger groups. There are mostly tent sites up there. Some of the original older campsites. I'm not sure when this park was built, but about 15 years ago or so, Corps of Engineers came in here and put in 34 very nice RV sites with 50 amp service. So if you've got 50 amp service, you know that there's going to be room for larger vehicles. And so they made 34 very nice wooded campsites with water and electric. And it's really the best kept secret on the whole lake. You find Bandit's Roost campground is booked solid most of the summer. This campground, as beautiful as it is mostly vacant. Most of the campers that we see here today are just right up here in the loop near the bathhouse. And these beautiful sites right close by here are unoccupied. And down the hill are quite a few more that are just vacant and beautiful. So I'd say the Army has got a well-kept secret down here at Fort Hamby. I don't know why they call it Fort Hamby. I haven't seen a fort yet. But you know what? I hear some rumbling. It sounds to me like we're in for a little bit of a storm, a thunderstorm coming. What is it, Bear? I think he likes number 3. It's also nice and level. Well, it looks like the wind's picking up again. It's getting a little gray, a little cloudy. We might have another shower. That's par for the course here in North Carolina. Afternoon shower is not uncommon. But we're going to pack it in pretty soon and head back home. But I appreciate you coming along. I had a good time, and I hope you did, as I showed you around the campground a little bit. Some beautiful aspects of this park here at Fort Hamby. And I really do think it's one of the Army's best kept secret. The Army Corps of Engineers has done a super job, and even though it's a very small Corps of Engineer park, it has some very nice features, and it's worth checking out if you come to the W Kerr Scott Lake. So again, I want to thank you for joining me, and invite you to subscribe and come along on future journeys. Give me a thumbs up if you like the little review that I did of the campsites and everything, if that helped you in any way. I hope it did. So thank you again for joining me, and until our next journey, may your journey be safe, and may God bless you as you go.